want to thank me.
To all the young people out there.
I'm here because of you.
How do I get rich?
You're going to suffer the difficulty of being invisible.
400 trillion to
have this money, nobody.
But it's more important to be nice.
No, you should be capable of it.
Until I started winning.
Cause on a mission, your worst enemy is idle time.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, and maybe not the next month. But only one thing is true. I will be champion one day. I promise. I promise.
All right. So, welcome back to Idle Time Podcast. When I first started my podcast, I told myself, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow,
nice.
Maybe not even next month, pero I will have Brandon Moreno on the podcast. Si se puede. Brandon Moreno, welcome.
Let's go, brother.
Welcome, man. From San Isidro, from Tijuana. We're like brothers from another mother. We grew up probably a couple of miles apart, just different side of the border.
It's crazy how we always say, I mean, at least in Tijuana, it's like, Tijuana is San Diego and San Diego is Tijuana. It's almost the same, you know?
Es mismo.
It's exactly the same. Good Spanish, actually.
I learned a little bit. I'll try to throw some in there. But yeah, man, in San Isidro, I grew up on Dairy Mart. So next exit is the border.
Okay.
So we grew up, going over there, that's the first time I realized like everything was cheaper because like McDonald's was like 35 cents for an ice cream cone. Okay. In the United States was like $1. And then that's where I learned what better food tastes like. Fucking TJ. So people ask me like what my favorite food is and, like steak and cereal. The answer, you check like my bio, when I had Tinder way back in the day, everything. TJ Tacos.
Man, I mean, TJ Tacos are special. So they have that in Mexico. They have that discussion, right? Like, which part of the country has the better tacos?
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't be neutral because I'm from Tijuana, but I really believe because I've been in like Monterrey, Mexico City, the south, like Yucatan. I've been in a lot of different parts of Mexico, and I still believe Tijuana has the better tacos.
I agree. I've been to San Felipe, Mexico City, Rosarito. It's TJ. TJ has it. I mean, it's not even close, to be honest. Everywhere is good in Mexico because, they don't have the hormones and the preservatives.
Yeah,
all the food is good. Cancun is good, but TJ is special. And some of the restaurants are good, but it's the guy on the street who's like, that guy, that's the best fucking tacos. But it's the truth. It's the fucking truth. So, but you know what I'm talking about. So, that's how it is. TJ is special. TJ is a special place. The Linea, you can buy everything you want. You can buy dogs.
It's insane.
You can go United States, you go buy a Husky. It's like $400 on Craigslist for a Husky. You can go to Linea. $100, brand new Husky, portable maybe, but you just put it in the bag, cross it, call it a day.
Man, in the last like 6-7 years, the traffic to cross the border has been like insane.
It's getting bad. I mean, because everybody works, San Diego, and then they go back to TJ. But I mean, that's smart. The money's better.
So they want to win. They're gonna win. Dollars and spend pesos.
Yeah.
That's why
it makes sense. So when I was 21 years old, I first met my girlfriend at the time, was my wife. I was homeless. My mom kicked me out and I had to get a place. So I went to TJ. I found like a 3-bedroom gated community, $500. And I was going to move. And then I got a job at the shipyard, like doing like construction. And it starts at 5:30 in the morning. And I was like, I can't do it because the border doesn't even open. So I ended up staying, but I have a friend that lives in TJ. There's a lot of black guys that live in TJ. Right now, there's a lot of Haitians. In TJ.
But that has a lot of time. Like I remember when I was a kid, like a lot of Asians, like a lot of immigrants from Asia came to the city. Just talk like recently, a lot of people from IT.
Okay.
Like a few years ago. And then the people from Honduras. Yeah, that's the thing with the border, man. So a lot of people is trying to cross the border to go to the United States, but for some reason they are stuck in Tijuana.
Yeah.
And they come with all the traditions, the whole different culture.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Tijuana has a special touch because it's a mix of a lot of different cultures.
So a lot of things going on in TJ. And to me, it's special. And people don't know, Tijuana brings in more, like one of the most money for tourist cities in the world every single day. the bad part is just it doesn't get to the people. So,
Yeah.
you know, it kind of, you know, governments and whatever, but I still love it. I go, you know, I used to go every weekend and party because, you know, American clubs, you had to be 21. So I'm 18. You know, you go out, it's $10, free liquor. I don't drink, I don't smoke, but they have like the little watered down Tampico with the liquor in it.
Yeah, okay.
And we'd go party, and then, you know, taxi drivers try to always send you to like the fucking strip clubs in Hong Kong and all that.
Of course.
But I stayed away.
Paraditas and everything.
Yeah, everything.
The cheapest.
Revolution.
La
So
revolución.
that's where it's
I
at.
know, man.
It was what clubs are at? Animal, Tazul, all kinds of crazy stuff in TJ.
Man, so to me it was kind of different because I started with the sport like very young. I started when I was 12 years old.
So you're responsible.
So I think I've been very responsible in all my life. When I was like 16, 17, I started to get these days to try to go to the clubs or whatever,
Yeah.
but I never really did it. I did it just like a few times.
I'm
But
happy. It's good.
everything in my life were like competitions, the gym, the amateur competitions, and then when I turned professional, I decided to do everything for the sport.
As you should. I like it because you had your first kid at 20, right?
Yes.
So if you were out doing crazy stuff, you maybe don't have the same wife, you don't have the same kids. So everything happens for a reason. And I watched some of your old podcasts, and I know you talk a lot about the same story, your parents and piñata business, but you want to walk us through just, you know, for the people who haven't seen it, who watch this for the first time and learn about you for the first time, just quickly about like your childhood, you know, getting all the way until maybe your first professional fight. Let's get to that.
Yeah, but I mean, and it's funny because you're from San Isidro, you're from San Diego, so I grew up like my parents built the piñatas in Tijuana.
Yeah.
They have a little company, a little warehouse in their house, and then they sell the piñatas in San Isidro, in Barrio Logan, all the Mexican hoods, or here in LA.
Yeah.
I don't remember the hoods here in LA, but they came here to LA to sell the piñatas, and they still do it.
I probably bought one.
Huh?
I said maybe I bought one back in the day.
Maybe.
Who
Yes,
knows?
man, you know. But man, I was like a very happy guy, you know. I always say this, like, I grew up with not really a lot of necessities. I mean, thanks and principle because first of all, for my parents, they worked hard to give me a good life. But they grow up like in a really poor situation.
Yeah.
With a lot of hard work and a lot of like discipline and dedication. They give us a better life to me and my brother and my sister. And that's it, man. Very happy kid. I don't have like any history of sports in my life. You know, it's weird because my father, for example, before I started with mixed martial arts, he's not a really huge fan of like soccer or boxing or something. You know, he wasn't like a really fan of the sports. So I don't have like any history of sports in my life. But then I was started to be interested to do something after the school. You know, when I was 12 years old, that was 2006.
Stay busy.
And that's it. I made mixed martial arts. You know, it was a little gym close to my home. My mom got the phone, got the info, and next day I start with the sport. And that's it. That's very funny because it's not like
it's not a big.
The people is waiting for me for a special history, you know, like all these like Mexican boards. Oh, he was very poor and and then he made the sport and you know. But no, it's not my case. Just I got a lot of love for mixed martial arts and I started to compete in amateur when I was 14 years old and I had 3 years as an amateur and I turned pro when I was 17.
Okay. Speaking of that, so I sponsor some early UFC fighters. I sponsor some pro fighters right now, some in Texas, Fortis with Saif.
Oh, really?
And I sponsor some that from TJ, right? We're talking about it off camera. What advice do you have for some of these guys? Like one guy, he has, I think the UFC called that he might let him fight like next March, maybe like on the undercard or maybe contender series. He's like 5-0 and he fights in Mexico. I was gonna fight in Cage Warriors and Sean Merriman's Lights Out. And then I got a guy who's like amateur, gonna go pro. He trains out of Cub Swanson's gym. And a lot of people are worried about like their record when they're amateur, and they're worried about, I think, things that are just unnecessary. But if they were here listening to you, what advice do you have for like that level, that first 2-3 years of getting into the MMA sport?
Oh man, it's complicated, because obviously every single career is different. So for example, when you're amateur, I think the most important thing is just get experience. Try to get all the fights you can. Try to be. If you really want to do something in this sport, I think you have to start very early in your career to be professional with your food, with your diet, with your trainings, with your recovery. Because you want a long career. You want to be healthy. You have to start early. And that's it. When you're amateur, try to get all the experience, all the fights. I remember myself trying to get all the experience I was able to get, because in that time, like 2009, 2010, it wasn't like the monster mixed martial arts is right now.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get all the kickboxing amateur tournaments. I was trying to do all the jiu-jitsu tournaments. I had the possibility to cross the border, so I was trying to start to compete jiu-jitsu in San Diego, in LA. To me, that's the most important thing. And when you start your professional career, just try to be smart with your fights, but at the same time, you have to take some risks, like you have to take some fights where maybe the other guy has a lot of experience,
the advantage.
But that's gonna give you a lot of experience, and experience is everything.
I told my guy that fights out of TJ the same thing. So if I told him if the UFC does call next year, I was like, you have to like stop fighting right now where you're fighting in TJ, because you're getting really not. I was like, you're good, but the fights are too easy. And I was like, you're like winning like really fast. You're dominating. You're throwing them around. I said, you got to go get tested. I was like, you don't want to be your first time getting tested on main stage with cameras on TV. It's not to be your first time.
It's gonna be shocked like that.
Yeah. I was like, there's nerves that go into it. And I was like, I'm not a fighter, but I was like, I play sports. I've been around, and you don't want your first time ever to be when it matters the most.
Exactly.
So we took the fight for Lights Out in September in Long Beach, and he's the guy who's the tune-up fight. So the other guy is the better fighter, right?
Okay.
Better record, older, and he's the younger guy who's supposed to be just maybe go and get beat up. But so we're excited about that, because now you're gonna get tested, bigger promotion.
Yeah.
A guy with more experience, and if you can beat him, I was like, even if it goes 3-4, the whole 3 rounds, or if you beat him right away, now your team knows, your coaches really know. I was like, and UFC or whoever it is, they've seen you really get tested.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, I want you to win, but I kind of wanted to go 3 rounds so you can really go 3 rounds.
No, man, that's is very important. And to be fair, I think it's fine if you have a few fights when you start.
Yeah.
Maybe no easy fights, but fights where you can feel comfortable,
Confident.
you can see the people, and you can feel the nervous of to be in a fight, walk to the octagon and feel the cameras and lights. That's fine. But with the pass of the time, you need some fights where you don't feel that kind of comfortable, Then you can see like, okay, my level is here, or my level is here. I'm ready for UFC or not. Everything is perfect. Just with the pass of the time, you have to put more level in your competition.
I agree, 100% agree. Question for you, for young fighters and current fighters that are going through management problems, how do you choose a good team? How do you choose a good sparring partners, managers, coaches? What goes into that process to make sure you have a good team? Because a lot of people, obviously, they're like American Top Team, or they have massive organizations. Some people are smaller. And I've watched different people, and you can tell, like Gaethje's team,
It's very exclusive.
It's very, very exclusive. But I love the way they operate around each other. It really is all love. Just watching from the outside, everybody really cares for each other. They will die for each other. How do you choose like your team, or how would you think a person should choose their team?
So, for example, when you start, it's the same when I say about the competition and the experience, the same for training. When I remember myself when I was start training, I mean, I never think like, oh, this guy is bigger than me, or this guy, I don't care, man. I was doing sparring with everybody. I was doing all the rounds. I was having like 4 or 5 sessions per day. I don't care. I was on the grind 100% all the time. But with the pass of the time, I mean, me as a former champion, right now I'm trying to has a lot of people around myself who I believe, I'm trying to be very smart with my body. I try to be very smart with my training partners. But it's just because I'm in a different stage of my career, When I was younger, I don't care. I was doing sparring with everybody. Like, 200 pounds, doesn't matter. Let's go.
Yeah.
That wasn't healthy. And that is something I don't want to do right now in this position of my career. But when you're young and you need that experience, you have to feel that kind of pressure and that kind of nervous. That's fine, with the pass of the time. And now, I mean, I told you, I started when I was 12 years old. Right now I'm 30. So my body feels different. Everything starts to change, and you have to start to be a little bit more. You have to be smarter with all that those little details. But when you are starting, just do it, man. I mean, try to be responsible, with injuries on that stuff. But I think if you ask another fighters, they will say something very similar. Like, I mean, we don't think about like sizes or whatever.
Yeah, you just be smart,
Exactly.
be decisive, make sure people have your best interests in mind.
Exactly.
And I'm more of a business person, but it's very similar.
Okay.
In business, there's certain people that it looks good, right? The numbers might look good, but then you feel like that person doesn't have your interest. They just have like the dollar signs, and it's a dangerous game you do because they speak for you, they talk for you, they help you, and it's real quick when somebody can ruin your career.
But I think that the experience give you that, But I don't know. But maybe when you start, you don't have that kind of feeling. You don't have, But you just start to invest or do your business.
That's where wisdom comes,
Exactly.
right? You go, and sometimes you got to go through the bad to learn the good. They're the same thing. So with that said, of trainers and coaches, I saw on the podcast that on your Rio fight that I don't know if it was Jacob or Jason recommended Saif.
Yeah.
How is it working with him? I have not met him yet, but one of the guys that I worked with is named Ocho. He works at Fortis.
Is the Peterson?
Yeah.
Very cool.
So it's my guy. We got his TV thing, right? Ocho TV. I sponsor his fight league, right? I'm one of the main sponsors for his fight league. Great dude. And he keeps telling me about Saif. He's like, that dude changed my life. I own everything, LFA, the whole thing. And he's telling me, he's like, yeah, he's like, that's the guy. And so I didn't know he worked with you for the Rio fight. How was it working with him?
Man, he's amazing, to be honest. He's a tough guy. He's very disciplined, and he's always like very, I don't know how to say in English, but he loves to follow the rules. And he loves to follow the plan for a fight.
Yeah.
He doesn't really like to do things just for doing.
He's strict.
Exactly. He's very strict. That's the word.
Almost strict.
But he's a very lovable person, when he's close to you and he really cares about you. If you are part of his team, if you are part of his circle, he really cares about you, and he really is trying every single time to improve your skills and be very involved with your family, with everything. I mean, for example, he always is giving me advice. Like, hey, you have to be prepared because life is expensive, and you have 3 daughters. You have to be smart with your money and all that stuff. A lot of different advices about investment, or how to take care of my money. But obviously, at the same time, he's very disciplined with my training and all that stuff. So yeah, he's very cool. He's been a nice part of my training camps in the last years. I think so. It's kind of frustrated because we won the title in Brazil last year, but then I lost 2 fights in a row.
Yeah.
So it's weird how I feel in the best part of my life. I feel with a lot of experience. My body feels very strong, but I can't see the results yet. That's like a little bit frustrating to me.
That has to be frustrating.
But it is what it is, right? It's part of life, and I have to just keep working to show to the world like I've been getting better. Just I have to adjust little details, but that's it.
So you mentioned 3 things I want to talk about. Your career and what's next for you.
Yep.
You mentioned money, and you mentioned the losses, right? So first thing is money. I've been there where I've made a lot, and give me a second. Excuse me. Thank you. Nice guy. He's just like in the middle of the camera. Probably some cool stuff back there, but all right. All right. So we mentioned money, you mentioned the Rio, and you mentioned like where your career is going next. So for the money, as a business owner and entrepreneur, I've had where I've made millions and I've had where I've had none. And the problem when people don't understand is when you make a lot of money, your life, obviously things go up because you take care of a lot of people, but it can go away really, really freaking fast. Did you, or can you tell us experience and how it was when you like had it and then you looked up and it was like, where is it at? And you start thinking to yourself, I was set for maybe 2 years and now you're thinking maybe I only have 3 months left. Hey, have you ever dealt with that?
Like what, for example?
Like having a bigger bank account and then you look up and it's not big anymore.
Okay. Yeah. That's crazy because I don't remember where I hear this, but like I hear like everybody has money problems. The people who has money has money problems, and obviously the people who doesn't have money problems.
Yeah.
But yes, man, of course. So I remember my first season at the UFC.
Yeah.
So I went to the Ultimate Fighter in 2016. I lost the first fight, so I was out of the tournament.
Yeah.
But the UFC called me for a short notice fight. When the show was still on air against I forget the name of the guy. Oh my goodness, I completely forget my first fight.
Was this the Russian guy?
No, was Jacob. Jacob. ¿Cómo se llamaba el tipo con el que peleé la primera vez en UFC? No. UFC, sí. Tu cliente. No, tu cliente. Con el que peleé en Portland. I fought against Luis Smolka. You know, they called me for a short notice fight against him. And I won. You know? And that's the first time I really taste the flavor of good money.
Yeah.
Because I won my fight. They give me my show money.
Yeah.
The win money. And they give me the bonus.
You got a bonus?
I got a bonus
Okay.
because it was the upset.
Okay.
And actually I got nominated for upset of the year because I was short notice, like the underdog of the tournament, the Ultimate Fighter. Then I won against this guy. In that moment, he was the number 8 or 9 of the flyweight ranking, and I beat him in the first round, guillotine. Kind of easy.
Yeah.
And I started to get my money, and then that fight was in October 2016. I fought one more time in December. Next year I fought in April, and I won the bonus again. So I started to get this money, and I started to think about. I've been very responsible with my money, to be honest with you. My parents.
I said you got good parents.
I got really good parents.
Helps.
They've been really good. Taking care of the money. Maybe they don't have this culture of investment.
Yeah.
But at least they have this good culture of the save money, you know. So at least I start with that. I start saving my money and I start to buy some property. So I bought my first bonus. I bought my first home. It wasn't like really big or nothing, but it was my own house, yours. You know. Then I bought a little land in Tijuana, and then I bought a nice car. I bought I put my first daughter. I put in a nice college in Tijuana. You know, I started to get this adult life, paying my bills and everything was fine. I was winning. I was the number 7 in the world in that moment. And then they give me the main event in Mexico City in 2017 against Sergio Pettis. And I lost.
And you lost.
Damn, everything was kind of fun, but I lost, and everything started to go down because I lost again the next one.
Yeah.
And with all these kind of investments I did, buying my home in Tijuana, buying the little land in Tijuana, I started to watch my bank account because they released me after UFC released me after that loss, and I lost all this income. I lost it completely. And I said, like, damn, I was winning a lot of money.
But you have things you bought that you have to pay for.
Exactly. But suddenly they released me, and now I don't have this money anymore. And it's, yes, man, I remember myself watching my bank account in my phone and just going down, like going crazy down, and a lot of all these like snowball of problems.
More money, more problems.
My daughter needed a surgery because she has something in the stomach, and money problems.
How was your wife when the money problems happening? How was your wife? Because a lot of times, divorce, at least in the United States, is 50%, and 80% of that is women divorcing men, and 50% of that reason, money, is the number one reason. How was your wife? Was it supportive? Was she worried, or she just trusted that you knew that you guys had it?
Man, she was a huge support for me.
Shout out to your wife.
She was a huge support for me because she was always very positive. She was always very positive, trying to push me to keep going, because, man, I was so frustrated, very upset with myself, very sad with myself. And there's when the discipline starts to come in my life because I don't have the desire to wake up early in the morning and go to the gym, for example. It was like, trying to get this deal with myself, like, maybe I don't go today, I go tomorrow, I can rest today, nothing is gonna happen. But then I start like, I don't know, I have to wake up and go. But that huge part was my wife, my wife and my daughter, for sure. I've been always a family guy.
Yo también.
I think it's the only thing is really important.
It's only it matters.
It's the only thing that matters because I feel it, and I kind of feel it right now as well. Because I come from 2 losses again. Yeah. But I remember that part of my life. A lot of people start to go, and no more interviews, no more nothing. The people start to go. But my wife and my daughters, my parents always stay there. Yeah. So that's why I really appreciate the love of the family. So yeah, man. That was a very low part of my life. I think it's the darkest part of my life for sure. But I survived. I keep going. I keep going to the still going to the gym. Yeah. And I meet, for example, my management group. Yeah. They give me the fight for the title in LFA. That was here in California, Morongo Casino, something like that. And I won. UFC resigned me again, and that's it. It's crazy how the history is. Because, exactly.
The rest is history. So speaking of your family, after you won in Rio, easy. To me, it was easy, but you're the fighter, so maybe it wasn't easy, all the camp. But when you were like leaving, obviously they're throwing stuff and all that. We posted on my wife posted on Instagram because you were just laughing the whole time. What was so funny? Was it just the whole thing was funny? But then like your wife and your family and your management side, like, were they worried? Because you weren't worried at all.
They were worried for sure. You
seemed like you were having a good time.
They will say no because they want to look tough, but they were worried for sure. Man, I don't feel proud of this, but Mexican
heart is no joke.
Latin America, they have this part where you go to lucha libre, you go to soccer games, and that is kind of normal. The people get mad and they start to throw things to the people, to the football players, soccer players, whatever, to the wrestlers. So I remember that moment when all the United States media were like very, like, I don't want to say mad, but like offended. Like,
Yeah.
come on, why do they do that to him? He's very cool. That's. But
It's the
to me, was
culture,
like,
man. They love their culture.
I mean, like, I don't care. Like, I was so happy, and man, I won. I
Yeah.
won the title. I was the champion again. So I don't care. I don't
And they
care.
were saying that they're gonna kill you right in the crowd and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's always, you
But
know.
that's how it works. That's the one thing about fans, and I give fighters a lot of credit because the fans will cheer for you when you win, and they cheer for you when you get knocked out, and they cheer for the other guy you knocked out. You know, they talk shit, and then 2 minutes later, hey, can I get a picture? And is it easy or is it hard for you guys to like deal with that, knowing like, hey, I'm taking a picture and you probably talk shit behind my back? Like it's, you know, you just kind of get used to it.
I'm trying to live a easy life.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying because sometimes I fail, but I'm trying to don't get like high expectation of the people. You know,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be very hard with myself.
Yeah.
But I understand, you know, the fans.
Yeah.
Because before that fight in Brazil, I spent 2 weeks in total in Rio. You know, trying to get acclimated with the time and weather, whatever. So I spent two weeks in total in Brazil, and all the people so cool, so nice. I remember myself walking with my team at the a street market in Rio, and everybody was like so cool, so nice, so gentle to me, asking me for pictures or whatever. You know, even Fire Week, you know, at the hotel. Talking with the persons around the staff, the hotel staff.
Yeah.
Everybody's so cool. Obviously, in the moment, in the arena, with all this environment, with all this energy, they're just trying to get fun, you know?
Yeah.
So when you go to arena and watch a sports event, you're just trying to take this stress of the week out, and so I'm just I'm just trying to don't be exactly, and I'm just trying to don't be like very hard with the people in that.
Well, that's a great mindset to have. I know some fighters that take it personally. I'm not going to say them by name, but I've seen it where like they're at the fighter hotel and like they see a fan that they saw on Instagram and they're like arguing with him, and I'm like,
or people who fights it with haters in social media. That's not my way, man. Like, man,
I like to have fun on social media. If somebody says something crazy, I'll respond and have fun. But like, I tell people, like, even the podcast, if you have to say something negative, you had to click me first. Thank you for watching. Only way to say something negative is you had to watch. That works too, man. Like,
that is transit for you.
Yeah, it works out. I don't care if you like me or not. My wife likes me. My mother likes me. My son loves me, right? And what else? I don't know you. When I go to bed at night, I don't think about you. If I met you and you're mean, you're going to be an empty face in my dream. I'm not going to remember you. So I'm not going to let you bring me down. I learned how to ride a bike without you. I learned how to, swim without you. I learned how to shave without that stranger. I'm not going to let somebody in 10 seconds ruin my day. But I've seen people, some people are very, as tough as they are fighters, they are sensitive, really sensitive to
we are human beings. I understand that part. Or for example, when fighters get mad with the broadcasters because they say something in the middle of the fight.
It's their job.
Man, I mean, so I'm part of the Spanish broadcast, you know? But I mean, I understand the English broadcast is more important because that's the language of the company, right? And Cormier, Dominic Cruz, like Paul Felder, all these guys, like they got some like online or social media fights with the fighters because they say something, but they have to understand, like, if you did something wrong in the middle of the fight, I have to.
They have to be neutral. Like DC, when he's doing the Max Holloway and Gaethje, he's really good friends with both of them.
Yep.
He doesn't. If it was up to him, he probably doesn't want to broadcast either one, but he has to be fair. If Gaethje misses something or he does something wrong, he has to say it. And Gaethje can't get mad later on because, like, why did you say that, DC? Was I lying? The question is, were they lying? Did you miss? Should Poirier stop jumping the guillotine? Like, you should stop jumping the guillotine. It's not working. And I don't care if I was your friend or not. I'm broadcasting. I'm separate right now. But most people are fine, but there are fighters that they take everything personally, and teach his own, man. It's their life to take it, and I wish them well, but it gives people a lot of power over you. When anything they say can bother you, that means people can control you later
Yeah.
on. So
It's
just
a
be
waste
careful.
of energy, I think.
So I'm gonna be honest. I watched your fights, enough. When you were fighting, I didn't know you were as big as a star. I was at your title fight in Arizona.
Everything changed there, man.
It was so I'm it's a big card, and I've the biggest crowd reactions. People might say who's a bigger draw, and I talked this to my wife before she saw you fight. I was like, I'm gonna give you the top 5 crowd walkouts I've ever seen in my life. I was like, number 1, obviously Conor McGregor. Like he's different, right? The fog and everything. After Conor McGregor, it was Nate Diaz is the biggest crowd reaction I've ever seen. And after that, it was yours. When you're in Vegas or you're in Arizona and Mexico City that I'm in, right? It's something else. I've watched John Jones fight. The crowd reaction is not the same. Like you have a better crowd reaction than John Jones. I've seen Sugar Sean O'Malley 4 times. And he's maybe in Boston. I haven't seen him in Boston. I heard his Boston fan base is crazy. But I've seen him in Vegas. And I've seen him in Arizona. It's nothing like your reaction. Did you expect that? That? I know it's a lot of Hispanics, right? A lot of Mexicans out there. But it was puro Mexicanos. Like they were ready to go to to die for you. How was that?
And new UFC flyweight champion of the world, Brandon Moreno. Brandon, can you believe this?
I mean, I feel very grateful in life for all the things are happening right now in my life, obviously I know I'm not in the best moment, but I have to be grateful because I, like you say, like I have the love of the people, and I don't have to do something stupid in social media. I don't have to do something like, I don't know, I don't have to sell my values to do it.
So you're not gonna get OnlyFans?
I have OnlyFans.
Oh, there we go.
I don't get naked, but I have OnlyFans.
No, feet pictures. Feet pictures and close up of the cauliflower ear. That's all we
Man,
need.
I can get my food. So I don't know.
You never
But yeah,
know.
man. But no, man, like when that fight in Arizona happened, so before that, is where the history starts, and anybody really believes I was able to be the champion because first of all, the UFC released me from the company like a few years ago. And then I came and I started to win and win. 2020 was the pandemic, March, I won in Brazil. Then UFC was fighting with government and the pandemic to try to bring the show again. So I fought in November, the first one against Roybal, and I won.
Apex.
At the Apex, yes. And for some reason, I think the main event was Perry Yan against Aljamain Sterling, I think so. I don't remember well. But they needed another main event. Figgy won the fight in November, kind of easy. And I won the fight the same in the first round.
Yeah.
So UFC gave me the opportunity to, hey, you want the fight for the title in 3 weeks? Like, let's go. I have to do it. So I have an amazing fight. But even with that fight, because that was the fight of the year in 2020. But even with that fight, I was the under.
It was a draw, right?
That was a draw.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kicked me on the nuts terrible. They take a point out. So that's why they give us the draw. So they give me the rematch in Arizona. I was the underdog because Figgy was saying in interviews he got sick and his stomach ache or whatever. Yeah. So I was the underdog for that fight. But man, the only thing that happened in the first fight against Figgy was give me the confidence to know, like, because in that moment I remember Figgy was this like powerful guy, like, oh, he punched so hard, he's a flyweight, but he's a huge dude, and he can knock you out with just one punch, and going to the first fight, I had that idea in my mind, like, I have to be careful, because this guy can punch. But going to the second one, I take that idea out, like, I mean, I can exchange punches with that guy. I can take him down. I can do whatever I want, and I did it, man. And that fight changed my life for me and my family.
Gym strength. I've seen people in the gym, right? They're strong in the gym. They look the part. but then body wise, like they don't know how to, like I've seen people look way bigger than me. I can throw them around. And it's like, oh, okay, so your tone and you are built a certain way, but not necessarily are you elite at using it. And because I watch the fights and everybody, even broadcasters, even the second fight, they're surprised that you do what you want to do with Fig. Like he does have power punches, but once you fight multiple times, you like, oh, I could take that. And wait a minute, he has a hard time with mine. It's like, so it's good to take that out of your head.
Yeah.
Because you let other people dictate like fear. And I think a lot of people did that with Poatan. You know, he is dangerous, but a lot of thing was, you know, media was like, you know, the left hand and it's real left hand, but you still got to fight your fight.
Exactly.
And that Arizona thing, it was special. It was special. I knew like people loved you, but I didn't know that they loved you like that. But and maybe it was a mix of they didn't like him and they love you so much. Because, you know, he had a hard time fighing consistently. He kept getting injured and stuff.
I think all the moments were so special, you know? The victory and the fierce Mexican-born champion.
Yep.
The speech after, you know, the speech was so powerful for the people. I always say the same. I think that speech is more famous than me. You know, I can see a lot of TikToks or reels in Instagram with my speech with the audio, but I know the guy doesn't even know me.
That's
but he puts the audio, you know.
But I mean, and you gave it English and Spanish for any Hispanic fighter or anybody that was little guys, Hispanic fighter, somebody who's gone back and forth, even big guys that lost before and just didn't know where their career was, and like. That was a good moment for everybody to understand. Just keep going, make the adjustments, keep your right team, believe in yourself. You know, it seems cliche, right? It's the same things you always say, but you made it real.
Yeah.
It was like almost like a movie. You can write a script in Hollywood and it would be very similar. And it was a special moment. It was one of my favorite fights to be at. And I kept telling my wife, I was like, you have to see him fight. Like you have to see him fight. You have to see him fight. Unfortunately, we only got to see you fight in Mexico City. We went all the way to Mexico for you, by the way.
Thank you, bro.
So, because her whole family is from TJ. So
nice.
they have family in Mexico City, and they have family in Monterrey. They have family in Jalisco, but like extended.
Yeah.
But her whole family is from TJ.
Okay.
And I looked at the ticket prices, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna take all of us to Mexico City. I was like, Brandon's fighting. And I was like, we have to go. I was like, we don't know. I was like, what's gonna happen? And so we went all the way there, and I fuck with Brandon Royval, great dude. He sent my son a video. He's my son's favorite fighter. But I thought you won. Again, my son and I bet $20 who's gonna win. He bet for that Brandon. I bet for this Brandon. My son told me funny. Fourth round he owes me $20. So even my son thought that you won originally, and then when the decision came, you could see it in your face, kind of like it's nothing you could do, but you understand you can't let it go to judges sometimes.
Yeah, man.
But question for you when it comes to your career. Obviously the fans, we know you for a lot of different things, but we all want to know, man, like your income is right, your family is healthy, you're doing celebrity soccer matches, even though you're not a good soccer player, right?
Man, I'm terrible, but let's go.
All that is great, but when can we expect you back in the octagon? And if you have an answer for that, what's going to be the thing that you tell yourself, I'm ready?
Yeah, so...
Because I know it has to be mental, right?
I mean, for example, first of all, you're talking about Royval. I don't know what is the perception of Royval about me, but to me, I mean, the guy is amazing, and if he won that fight, he deserved it. I don't want to put nothing, in any speculation or something like that. And I wish him the best in the future.
100%.
Obviously, I would love to set the score against him. Right now we are 1-on-1. So, but that's it. Right now, the Sphere is coming, for example.
Yeah.
That is September 14. I mean, a lot of people asking me like, "Hey, you're gonna be at the Sphere, right? You have to be on the Sphere," and man, obviously I wanna be there, man. I wanna fight there, and you never know. But so I take very personal the love of the people, man.
Yeah.
I don't know the precision of the people about my fans, but I really love my fans and I really want to give them the best performance I can.
Yeah.
So the next time I will a step in the octagon again, I wanna give them my 100%.
Yeah.
You know, I wanna be healthy mentally and physically. You know, my last fights, I don't wanna say I wasn't like 100%, but I don't know, man. I was just so tired. You know, the last 2-3 years I've been so busy. I've been hustling, man.
It's the life of a champion.
Man,
Things
like,
change.
appearances, travels, making relations, obviously training and fighting, you know. In some point I got just tired. I needed this little break, you know. Don't think in the next fight or something like that, because I've been fighting like two fights per year.
Minimum.
But like I finish a fight and like 2 weeks after, like say, you're gonna fight in 3 months or 4 months, you're gonna fight against this guy. Maybe you don't have the fight, but you start thinking already against the next challenge, and you know. So right now, just be around, be with my family, enjoy my daughters, my wife. Obviously, just keep working because hey, I have to keep working, but just don't have this stress of the next challenge of my life. That it's been perfect to me. And right now, talking to you, I've been healing my injuries. I mean, the people can see this, but the doctor told me like I'm ready to rock. And my mind feels more calm and clear and ready for the next challenge. And again, I can feel this fire on myself. I'm excited, man. I'm very excited because the last time the life made me take a break, I came back and I turned the champion. So the next season in my life, I'm not saying this is the last part of my career, but I'm 30. I'm watching what's gonna happen to me in the next 3-4 years. So for sure I want to be champion, and I have to be smart, but I have to take my challenge step by step. But man, I have to take that belt back because
100%.
Man, I like I said before, like it's weird how I feel in the best moment of my life. You know, talking about my professional career, I feel with a lot of experience. I feel very healthy with a lot of energy. I feel stronger than ever. But the result is not the way I really want. But I think it's about time.
I agree. So as a core fan of yours, man, we're happy if you're happy. So if that's champion or if that's taking a break, long as you're happy, everybody's healthy, man, we're happy for you. But obviously we're selfish, so we want to see you, sooner than later. But it does have to be right because we don't want to see half Brandon. We want to see full Brandon. You talked about champion, right? So you win in Rio. Yair wins interim. Alexa wins against the Bullet. How was that moment for you as a Mexican fighter, Mexican-born fighter, to go and like in 1 year to have, even for a short time, 3 Mexican-born champions the same time? How was that? Like you watch Yair, or I think Alexa won first, right? You watch Alexa and then Yair, and you just wake up and it's like, man, we did it. How was that? And it was big for Mexico.
The moment was insane. Everybody in Mexico were like crazy, like what's happening right now? It's a magical moment for the Mexican MMA history. And for sure, I feel proud to be part of the history of my country, you know. At the end, my first goal when I'm start doing this like seriously, it was like, hey, I want to give my wife and my daughters a better life, you know, the best life I can. But then other goals start to come, you know, like, hey, I wanna do something for the Mexican talent in my country.
Yeah.
I want to open doors for these young fighters. They don't have like the opportunities I had when I was younger. And that's it, man. When I remember when Jair won, that was in Australia, if I remember. I mean, he won the interim champ, and like everybody nods in the house, you know. Very, very happy for him, and more because I mean, I know Jair since 2014. We were part of the first development program of the UFC in Latin America. We live in Jackson's MMA in Albuquerque, New Mexico. 5 months together, so I know him very, very well.
Yeah.
And Alexa, the same. She went to Tijuana to my gym in that moment, and I meet her like 10 years ago. And the same, like very young. We have the same age, I think so. Like the same aspiration, like the same energy. Very happy. And actually, she posted something like 1 month or 2 goes ago, like, hey, I know this guy since like 10 years ago, and I feel very happy. And the same to me, like I feel so happy for her to watch her like succeed in her career.
She's doing great. I can't wait to see her fight again too. Yair, man, he's just exciting to watch. Right? You can't train for him. You cannot train for Yair. I don't care who you bring in to spar. There are certain people, Yair, Yuri, nothing you can do. If you win, you win, but you weren't going to train. There's nobody who can emulate what he does. So he's a special guy as well, and I definitely see him working his way back up.
Yeah.
The division's wide open for him to work his way back up. So, and he has the talent to do it.
For sure.
And Alexa, she has more of a tall task because the bullet is the bullet, and you know she's a Hall of Famer for a reason.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because when I know Valentina as well.
Yeah.
We train like not like with Alexa.
Yeah.
But I trained with her like 3 weeks. She was getting prepared for a fight. I don't remember against like Jennifer Maya. I don't remember. But really cool girl. Very nice. And then they announced the fight between Alexa and Valentina, and that moment was very uncomfortable to me because you know when you have this relation with both fighters, you want to be just neutral and you don't want to be a part of this. But hey, like I think I have a huge more relation with Alexa because she's Mexican.
Yeah.
Because I know her like since 10 years ago, you know, and we are part of this of the history of our country. But yeah, she has an interesting fight against Valentina because like you're saying, like she's a Hall of Famer for a reason.
She's a Hall of Famer for a reason, and that's getting tough. But they match up well. If not a lot of people match up with Bullet, she's kind of dominates everybody, and Alexa knows how to make the adjustments. Right, at both fights, the first few rounds, you know, Bullet looks like she's just too good, and then it gets to the champion rounds, and Alexa makes adjustments.
Yep,
that's good coaching, that's good team, and that's good keeping your head strong.
And that to make adjustments in the middle of the fight is something just like champions can do.
Yeah. It's a special trait, and I think it makes the difference of a lot of John Jones fights. That was those championship rounds, even the ones he got close to losing. I think that was the reason why he made the adjustment, and some of the people that he fought didn't.
Yeah,
and I think it does make a difference of the better champions versus the people that stay in the top 5 and top 10. And Alexa makes great adjustments.
Yeah,
really, really good. Like it's like she knew something we didn't know. And that makes her special right there. I don't care what happens in the next fight. You can never take that from her. She's a champion. She got it twice, right? I don't care. One by finish, one by draw, but it doesn't make a difference. If she didn't make the adjustments she made, she wouldn't have it. So she earned every second of it. And I'm glad she's wearing the championship great, her special belt, all of it. So with that, we have limited time. So I'm going to go into some of our segments, kind of like games.
Okay.
So I'm going to give shout out to our sponsors first. So we're going to shout out to Sujo Organic for keeping us with the proteins and keeping our body healthy. Shout out to Gelato, Gelato Tequila, Gelato, the cannabis brand, Gelato drink, their water, pure water. Excuse me. We're going to shout out to Ocho TV for
Steve.
Steve keeping us on Ocho TV and having the podcast posted on this thing. Shout out to Sweet Munchies. It's Puro San Isidro, Puro San Diego. It's they do bakery in San Diego. So they make sweets for TJ and they make sweets for San Diego. Shout out Gadali for making sure I have the timepiece on. and shout out Pizza Bar Lounge, shout out Lemon Ice, and everything else. If I'm missing one, let me see if I'm missing one. Oh, shout out White Rabbit as well. A lot of people help with the show, so I got to make sure they have
For
it.
sure, of course.
So first segment, it's by Gadali. So it's called Watch or Pass. It's a watch company.
Okay.
So what it's going to do is I'm going to give you two options.
Okay.
Pretty much, you turn to channel one is on. You turn to channel 2, the other one's on. You have to watch one. You have to pass. Kind of like Burncast. They have Burn or Chill.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So watch
Which is
or
good.
pass.
Passes.
Burn
Okay.
podcast is great, man. Those kids are doing great, and
Yeah, I love
I don't
these
even want to
guys.
call them kids. Those young men are killing it. The struggle they made it from, and the younger one, and doing it as a family. I love
Yeah,
the Burn
I know.
podcast. So watch or pass with Brandon Moreno. Let's go. I'm trying to keep it short. We had like a lot, but first one, watch or pass your wedding video, so like you and your wife like video, or your first title win. If one is on the television, which one you watch, which one you pass?
Man, let me tell you why this one is not fair. So, because when I get married with my wife, we don't
Yeah.
have like money or something like that. So we don't have like nothing special.
Yeah.
We get married in a little office with
The judge?
with a judge, very cool judge, but I mean,
So what we're watching is a title win.
you know, yes, but if my wife watched this, I want to say to her like I want to give her in the future a real like wedding party, you know, with something very cool for her because she deserves it. That's why I don't want to count it. I don't even count our marriage because was
Nah.
like the kind of moment I want to give to her.
So when we do part 2, we'll choose the wedding.
Let's go.
So, and shout out to the wife for keeping this man's head on strong. And Jacob, Jason, Brandon, I need an invitation. I know how to go to Mexico. I can
Man,
go.
let's
I got
go.
a passport. I want to go to the wedding. I'll be in the back. You gotta have one black guy, man. Just
Man,
wait in the
you're
back.
going.
I
You're
look,
going
I
to
look
the
good
party.
in a suit. I wore a suit for
Jacob,
7 years.
he's going.
Let's
he's
go.
going to a party, all right?
Yeah. Put it down. There we go. All right. Hey, you bring them both. You drive one, I'll drive one.
All right.
All right. Next one. Watch or pass. Mexico wins the World Cup or Alexa Grasso and still champion. Which one you watch?
Sorry, soccer team, but Alexa Grasso for
Ooh,
sure. Man, I mean,
That's tough.
no, it's not even tough. Like
That's-
I don't know if you are a soccer fan or not, but
I'm a
right
Manchester
now,
fan, actually. Manchester United.
really?
Yeah, that's why when he told me, I was like, it's funny. I have a Manchester jersey. I have my name on the back. Because Chicharito, back in the day when he played,
Yes.
that was it for me.
Man, so right now the Mexican national team, I don't know. They don't have like good results. They don't showing like all this passion of soccer as before. I mean, we never did like a crazy achievement
Yeah.
at the sport, but they
you
play
know
with
what?
personality. And now I don't know.
One thing I can say about Mexico team is, you know who can't beat them? The USA. We always lose to Mexico.
But I mean, we recently
US will go far,
last year
but
or
we can't
2
beat.
years we lost the Copa Oro against them in Las Vegas.
So,
actually,
Mexico owns us though. But next one. So Alexa Grasso, he's watching
so
you. Mexico team.
my final point in this one is like we have to support this kind of sports. You know, out of soccer, like mixed martial arts, boxers, like in the Olympics. Like, man, we have a lot of crazy talent. Just we need that little support.
Viva Mexico, cabrones.
Viva Mexico, perros.
Next one. This one is little easier. Well, maybe easier. Marab Sugar Sean or John Jones and Poatan. Which one you watch? One's on television, the other one's on television. Which one you turn on? That's a tough one.
You say it's gonna be easier, but I don't think so. Like both
I thought
fights are.
it's a tough one, but I figured maybe Marab, he's
So I've been training with
voluntary Mexican.
I trained with Merab before. He's a really nice guy.
He's a great guy.
Very tough. His cardio. I think the main thing with Merab is the cardio. You know, because sometimes like maybe the technique is not the best, but if you have the cardio to waste
He's a
every
machine.
time, like
He's a machine.
don't care. Like do whatever you
He's
want.
a machine.
He has a nice chin. He can put pressure. He can get damage and keep going forward. So he's an amazing
He's
athlete.
not scared of anybody.
Nope.
That's one thing. A lot of fighters are tough, but some people do show intimidation, right? They
Yep.
little intimidate. Marab's not scared of anybody.
He doesn't care.
He win or lose, but he's gonna give you a fight for sure. So were you going with Marab or are we going with John Jones Poatan?
John Jones, Poatan. And the thing with John Jones and Poatan is like you want to see how far can Poatan can go, right?
And then people want to see John Jones lose. And is he that, we all know John Jones is that good. But like if he wins Poatan in easy, then what do you say? Like, so it's a tough one. Which one?
Oh my goodness. I think that people always want the upset, They want to see John Jones lost because he's the god and he's the best.
So which one you watch, which one you pass?
I go with John Jones against Poatan.
You watch John Jones? Sure. I watch John Jones as well. The Marab Sugars, obviously, I want to watch because go Marab, but John Jones Poatan, that's on television. I don't think I'm watching anything else.
I know,
It is what it is. All right, last one for this segment. Another Poatan question. Izzy Poatan 3 or Brandon Moreno on the Idle Time podcast? Which one you watch? Which one you pass?
Again, please?
Poatan and Izzy 3 or you on this podcast? Which one you watching?
Man, I mean, it's not because I'm here, but I don't want to see Izzy against Poatan, and you are giving me a nice moment. So
all right.
I will prefer to be here.
Okay, that's a good answer. So we're gonna rewind that, and you're gonna say Brandon Moreno on Idle Time podcast. Come on, you gotta do it good. So which one we're watching? Izzy and Poatan 3 or Brandon Moreno?
You can't lose this podcast. You have to watch this podcast.
There we
go.
That's better. All right, next one. It's called Sip Happens. So Sip Happens is brought to you by Gelato. So sip, like you take a sip.
Okay.
So it's brain teasers, like trick questions. All right. If you get it right, I donate $100 to a charity of your choice or just to Jacob. Whatever.
Jacob? That guy.
So, whatever charity. But if you get it wrong, you got to take a sip and say, Brandon Moreno, I got it wrong. Right? It's just fun. I'll choose like simple ones because the other ones are long and we're running on time. So
and hopefully my language,
that was the hard part is I found some in Spanish, but I couldn't say it right.
It's fine. Let's go.
So I'll go.
Let's try.
I'll go the easy ones first. So Sip Happens by Gelato, pure water. Drink Gelato. First one is easy. You've heard it 1,000 times. What gets wetter as it dries?
Wow, we're gonna fail this section of the. Again, I'm gonna try.
What gets wetter as it dries?
Oh, Jacob, Ben.
He's cheating.
Just here.
Yeah, on camera. Let's go, Jake.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, let's go. My translator right here.
Okay.
Voy a hacer un juego de palabras.
All right, Jacob. So you're the translator for this one.
Okay.
What get wetter as it dries?
¿Qué se hace más mojado?
Cuando se seca, ¿ah? A su madre. ¿Qué se hace más mojado cuando se seca?
You're getting bad luck because he's wearing a Raiders hat.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. This motherfucker.
Tick, tick, tick.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I have time? Damn. Yeah, the ice? I don't know.
That's almost a good answer, but no, a towel.
Why?
It's wetter as it dries.
When a towel dries you, it gets wetter. We'll blame the language barrier. Take a sip. Brandon Moreno got it wrong. All right. This one's another easy one. You had to hear this one somewhere. What gets bigger as you take something out of it?
¿Qué crezca?
¿Qué se hace más grande?
Sí, ¿qué se hace más grande cuando como quitas un pedazo de eso propio?
That was tough.
These are like the mainstream ones. These are like the easiest ones on the internet. A hole. A hole gets bigger Wait,
Right, you did. You did.
he said it?
He told me, yeah.
Oh yeah, whispered it. Yeah, he whispered
We
it.
have a
You got
microphone
that
here.
right,
We can lie.
Take a sip. Take a sip. See, later on in life, right, we probably gonna do for like people that drink a lot and not driving, we'll probably do alcohol, right? It's different. Take a sip. But right now, water works. Yeah, you guys gotta go play soccer and stuff. We're not gonna get you drunk. One last one. Let's see. I try to make something easy. These are all hard. Why does the Statue of Liberty stand in New York?
What's a gift?
It's technically true, but
What's a
there's a
gift
different
from-
answer. The thing is, a trick question, so a different answer. Why does it stand in New York?
Because you can't.
Because because she can.
Because she can't sit. There
she
you
can
go.
sit.
Good answer. I drink
Let's go.
gelato, and we donate $100 to a charity of your choice, or just Jacob's Pockets, whoever, whatever, what you want.
Jacob.
Look, we give it to Jacob buying a new hat.
He love hats.
Any hat but the Raiders.
He really
man.
love hats.
I do. I wear a lot of.
I'm a big hat guy too.
Paraditas in
Look,
La Revolución.
You leave that one here, and we'll give you a Wolf of Westcoast hat or Idle Time hat.
Ooh, let's go.
There we go. We got one in the car for you. We don't put the Raiders on my show. All right. So we'll leave that one there. We'll end the segment with that. But question quick for you. I don't know if anybody asked. Keep you on camera or not camera. Have your daughters ever expressed like wanting to fight?
Not yet. And
Would
so
you want them to fight?
So I have to wait because, for example, my older daughter, she's a princess. I don't think she really want to fight. Or
Right.
She's not. I try to push her to train jiu-jitsu, but she doesn't really care about it.
So,
she stopped and she started to do gymnastics. To be fair, and it's not because she's my daughter, but she's
Yeah.
good. She's very athletic and she's strong. And she's very smart. I don't know, man. I got
brains over everything. Gymnastics, and then maybe we reopen the Piñata company and your daughters run it.
She's very smart and she's very athletic. I don't know, man. My middle daughter, she has autism, so she doesn't speak yet. She's the best.
How old is she?
She's 5.
5?
She's 5 years
So
old.
for you to know, Albert Einstein, I think, didn't speak until he was 7, and didn't read until he was like older, and he became the person who changed the world. So there's no time like the future.
Thanks,
You
bro.
know,
No,
so-
we have a lot of we hope she can speak soon. You know, she's young. She got a diagnostic of autism like last year, and she's doing therapy. This year she's going to the school, and we are so excited for her because we know that's gonna help her a lot to grow and start to talk with other kids.
It'll make her want to.
Exactly.
Because when kids are doing it, so she can, it's in her. Then being around peers, it's science. We normally want to. We almost evolve and come together depending on what the crowd is.
Of course.
So I think this would be great for her. So that'd be beautiful. And if you ever bring her to a fight, my son goes now, which is expensive, but and now he wants to go, and it's like an extra $3,000 for every fight. And I'm like, you need to stay home. But just so we have it on camera,
I have my
Go ahead.
in the last question, I have my little daughter. She's 3 years old. She's crazy. So I have
she's the one.
I think she
She's
can
her
be,
father's daughter.
Yeah, man.
There we
I
go.
think she is gonna show some interest to
And
fight in the future. Maybe.
Tia Grasso, trainer.
Huh?
Tia Grasso, the trainer.
Oh, I know.
There
I
we
know.
go. That's perfect. So, just so we have it on camera, I know you probably ask this all the time. Who is your MMA goats? Like who's your Avengers?
Go John Jones. He's the number one. So right now they have this conversation like about who is the pound for pound right now. To me, John Jones is in a different conversation. To me, the pound for pound list is for active fighters.
Yeah.
You know? So he's not been very active in the last years. He fought last year in March, and then maybe he fight in November.
Yeah.
We don't know yet. but to me that's for active fighters, the pound for pound list.
Yeah.
But talking about the goats, I mean, John Jones for sure
I
is the
go over it
number
all
one.
the time. John Jones is the GOAT. To me, after that, probably Mighty Mouse. I think he's top 3, top 4.
To me, it's John Jones, is George St. Pierre,
I knew you were going to say that.
and Demetrius Johnson.
I put Demetrius over George St. Pierre. And it's always hard for me to go back and forth. I just think Demetrius, if he was 6'2", he'd be the best in history. Like,
Just
he's
what is
just skills-wise, he's not missing nothing. He's a great fighter. I haven't met him either, but I love DJ.
I mean, he's amazing.
He's amazing.
You know, I don't know him. I know him in person long time ago.
Yeah.
I just say hi and that's it. But I mean, he's an amazing fighter, and what he did inside of the octagon, I mean, he's still fighting.
Yeah, he's still doing his
You
thing.
know, he's doing his thing in ONE FC. But I mean, he's amazing. I know. Just the only part and my only question, and I think it's not his fault.
His fault.
The competition. You know, he had
Way back
out of Joseph Benavides, because I train with Benavides and
Yeah.
he's an amazing fighter. He was my coach at the Ultimate Fighter. Out of Benavides, out of Cejudo, obviously. Some fighters, they don't have, like, I think he doesn't have the level to
accolades,
fight against
yeah.
him. And St. Pierre, he has an amazing
But he fought
competition.
everybody that they gave him.
Yeah,
You know,
I
so
know.
you can't take. He said it's not his fault.
It's not
but
his fault.
They were the best then, and maybe they didn't become better because he beat them. Maybe, but George St. Pierre did fight everybody too.
Yep.
And he dominated
Exactly.
everything. And then after George St. Pierre, for me, is Anderson Silva.
Anderson Silva.
I don't care about his last, when he got older, losses, he broke his leg. I don't care about none of that.
Yeah.
Even when he lost to Weidman, he was playing around and he got caught, but he wasn't losing.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva is he's one of the GOATs for sure. And Amanda Nunes.
Jose Aldo.
She's the most dominant fighter I've ever seen. That's not John Jones.
What do you think about Jose Aldo?
Jose Aldo is a legend, but I think he goes in the conversation like in the 6, like right in the bubble of those people right outside the 5, because I have to put Nunes. And so if I put Nunes, Jose Aldo has to be out. Because if you pick one of the two, she's more dominant. Like, she got bored and started like lapping people in both divisions.
Yeah.
And
No, she's amazing.
She beat
Like,
Cyborg.
she dominated Cyborg. And Cyborg's such a nice person. I didn't know that she was like, she looks all mean, but she's such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
She's a sweetheart. She's Amanda Nunes is Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
Like, she's a problem.
She's
You
a
gotta have Cyborg in that conversation too, right? Because before it was Nunes.
Before
it was
Nunes, Cyborg was making people look dumb, and
man.
and after Nunes, Cyborg makes people look dumb.
Yeah.
So, but again, I feel like
it's
that
always about timing.
the top 5, I think it's kind of the same conversation for most people, and then that's where it gets close. The 6, 7, 8, 9, the Jose Aldo, the Cyborgs, there's so many. Stipe,
Where do you put Connor in that mix? Right?
Connor's in 10 because when he was fighting, you can say competition. He beat everybody. And honestly, he made it look easy, right? He still did beat Max Holloway, and people can say, "Well, it's not this Max Holloway." It's Max Holloway.
Yeah.
He still beat everybody. The whole Aldo thing, he beat Aldo up here,
Yeah.
so it was more here. But Connor's Connor. Again, he shows up to a fight. I don't know which one. I don't know any other fight that I would have to pay my money for.
Yeah.
He puts on a show. Now, I still rather him not fight Chandler. I'd rather him fight somebody else. But just because stylistic-wise, I want to see his striking on show, not with just brawling. Connor's very good at striking and picking his shots. Michael Chandler and they're just going to go at it.
Yeah,
And-
he's just trying to destroy.
yeah, and
Smash.
that's not. And so Connor's not going to, I don't think he's going to get to fight the Connor we love, the picking you apart, the strikes, the kicks. And because it's going to feel like almost an amateur fight. Just fucking go in there and somebody's going to get knocked out. And then Chandler might wrestle, and Connor can wrestle, but he can't wrestle against Chandler probably. I want to see Connor go and be able to strike and really show if he still has the skills. And maybe they make the 165 division. Connor goes against, somebody with striking and, even, and we see if he still has it. Not wrestling, we don't know, or a brawl, we don't know. I want to know if he still has it after being that rich.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you coming here, Brandon Moreno, Idle
Let's
Time
go.
Podcast. We talked 3 weeks ago. You said that you might do it to hit you up. your manager beat you to it. But we're here all the same. First podcast in the world that is powered completely by Cybertrucks. Shout out to Tesla for that.
Nice.
It's different. I know you do a lot of interviews, a lot of media, and it's a lot of the same stuff. I try to ask different questions, do something different. And the ambiance, you got the graffiti wall, kind of looks like TJ, right? This is part 1. We'll definitely get part 2, either Tijuana or San Isidro.
Man, I mean,
and bring your family if you want. We'll make sure everybody's taken care of. And I appreciate you coming out, man.
Thanks so much for the space, brother.